Hey y'all, it's a beautiful day. I'm still in Iowa. I had a delivery this morning, and actually for the first time ever my straps were so frozen I could not get them undone because it rained and then it froze, and I ended up pouring hot water on them, and that sort of solved the problem. That was interesting. So today I thought I'd do a short video on some of the dangers of being a flatbedder. Actually, most of them are avoidable, honestly. And when you see all these pictures of like trucks all jammed up on the road, or truckers who've slid off in the snow, things of that nature, most of those, if you just be a little more safe and you don't follow so closely and you don't drive out when it's pouring snow, can be avoided, but not everything. I mean, for example, like I think about some of the crazy things that I've experienced. One of them, I was in Nebraska, and I was delivering a load to a farm, a load of plastic piping. They were going to put in some kind of water lines, and so it was in the middle of nowhere, and it was in the middle of winter. It was really cold, and this trucker passes by me. It's a 2-lane road. This trucker passes by me coming this way, and of course I'm going that way. I don't know how fast he was going. I think his speed was 55. I swear to God, he was doing 75. Smash! A rock hit my passenger side window and shattered it. I mean, absolutely shattered it. Glass came all the way in on me, and I was just like, what the what? So I pulled over and I, scraped out, but had to document it because I was working for a company at the time, so they know I didn't do it. Document it all, take a bunch of pictures, blah, blah, blah. And then I got to the place and got the load undone. And then the funny thing is that was my very last load before I left that company, and I was just trying to leave. So anyway, so I had to drive back. They're located in Fargo, North Dakota, and of course I'm not really talking about dangers now. I'm just telling y'all a funny story. And so it was freezing cold, and I had like a 2-day drive to get back there. So I ended up that night I just taped a big plastic bag over my window so I wouldn't be freezing. And then the next day I had my coat on, I had on like 2 hats, my gloves, and the heat on full blast because I had to drive with the window open. So that was fun. That was probably pretty exciting. I think some of the other really dangerous things that I've experienced have been things like, coming down a mountain, and you're going pretty fast and you go around a corner and all of a sudden all the traffic stopped. And what are you gonna do? You gotta brake really hard, slam on your Jake brake really hard, and pray. And that's happened to me once, and it was terrifying. But fortunately, nothing happened. I mean, I've seen pictures of truckers whose loads come through their trucks, and most of that also can be prevented if you just secure your loads right. But those are probably the scariest things. Some of the other things that have happened that are kind of funny because they didn't do any damage, but they're also sort of dangerous, or like Trucker Path is this app that I use that's a GPS that's specifically for truckers. We can't use Google because it's for cars, and there's a lot of roads that are not appropriate or for trucks, or trucks aren't even allowed. So I didn't know this in the beginning. I assumed that Trucker Path was like spot on and knew everything. And so it was night, and I missed a turn, and it told me to make a U-turn. So I made this U-turn. It wasn't a trailer park. I made a U-turn through a trailer park. Fortunately, I didn't hit anything, but after that, I was like, oh no, I can't trust this. There's times that it's directed me on a road with an 11-foot bridge. I'm 13 foot 6 inches high. Well, at least, that's how high I'm supposed to be able to be. And so fortunately I was able to see that and avoid that, but that's happened. They've sent me on a road with a hairpin turn so sharp that I knocked down a stop sign, and that's not okay. There was another time they sent me on one. I'm in the middle of Pennsylvania. I'm picking up a load of stone, I think. And I mean, I'm on roads that are barely wide enough for 2 cars. And so I'm kind of in the middle of the road. They're all gravel roads. They're in the middle of the forest in Pennsylvania. It's gorgeous. And they send me on this hairpin turn. Now, straight ahead, the road says no truck. So I have no choice but to make this turn. It's so tight. I mean, my God, it took me about 4 or 5 tries. I did finally make it. the front grill on my driver's side was caked in mud because I basically am running into this embankment on the side in order to make this turn. That was exciting. That was probably one of the more exciting things that I've ever had happen. Probably one of the other scary things when I was brand new to trucking, and I was pretty terrified, honestly, is I was in a Love's parking lot. It was dark, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm leaving, and this Love's truck is pulling in this way, and my truck is going this way. Well, honestly, I just should have braked hard, but I was just so scared. I saw the guy, we made eye contact, and he stopped, and I thought he was going to back up so I could keep going. Well, he didn't, and my trailer ended up basically damaging the hood of that truck. This is how far he moved. He tried to sue me for $1 million. $1 million! Can you believe that? That was terrifying. That was terrifying. Fortunately, he did not win because the trucking company I worked for at the time had very powerful lawyers, but still, that sucked. And then another time I ran over some grass when I was with the same company, and those people charged our company $10,000. They could have flown me up there and I would repair that freaking little grassy patch for a couple $100. It was ridiculous. That's the other scary things that have happened mostly tend to be around being on tops of loads, especially if it's cold or icy or super windy. That can be pretty scary. And then breaking down on the side of the road, I've done that more times than I care to admit. One time was in the middle of freaking Dallas traffic. I'm on the side of the road, right up against it. It's hard to describe, but essentially there's a barrier, and then there's my truck, and then there's 5 lanes of traffic. And I couldn't move. I had to sit there until somebody came out and towed me away. So those are just, most of the things that happen to truck drivers happen to be with like falling off your load, tripping, falling off things, mostly falling off your trailer, stuff like that. That tends to be most of the dangerous things, or slipping around in the snow. I once watched, this was when I was in Charlotte, I watched a log truck in front of me make a U-turn, which we're not supposed to do, and he flipped that entire truck. He was only going like maybe 20 miles an hour, but that, shit like that, that's pretty scary, stuff like that. So anyway, that's sort of like some fun stories that I have to tell that have been pretty crazy. I'm trying to look at my notes here to see if there's anything else that's that I can't remember. That's pretty yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much for this video. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.